Oops. How's it been? Good evening again. Hope everyone is well. Welcome back to the Dugout Football channel and welcome to the first World Cup group preview. Yes, 13 days to go and the excitement is absolutely building. Or is it? Well, I shall let you have a decision on that. But I'm delighted to say that joining me is Mr. Reese Russell. How are you, Reese?
Hey, I'm not too bad, thank you. I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm not bad as well. I am not too bad as well. Are you looking forward to this World Cup?
Yes, for the football, no for the obviously behind the scenes, obviously. But in terms of the football, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. See how it goes.
Yeah, I am as well. I am as well. And guys in the chat, please let me know in the comments if you are looking forward to this World Cup. And by the way, obviously, I don't think I've obviously said it, but thank you very much to every one of you. I'm now hit 2.2k, so getting getting ever so nearer towards the 2.5k that I've aimed myself towards for the end of the year. So thank you very, very much to everyone in here. Hello, Henry. Hello, Ali News. Hello again. Hello, Tom. Jaden Jules is in. Hello. Hello, Liz. And like and share the stream, please. And thank you. And then she says, Douglas the Lion-Hearted as well. Right. Let me. Here's a good question. Ali News has said, who do you think is going to win the World Cup? I think the fact that Lionel Messi's 1000th game could potentially be the World Cup final. I fancy Argentina. What about you?
I always go the Germans. I always have. But I think the winners of the World Cup will either be Brazil or Holland.
Ooh.
I think the Dutch are one of the strongest outfits that you could get. This is the strongest team in years. And they've got a manager that actually understands this level of football and his style suits it. And potentially this is his last hurrah. I think Van Gaal could walk away with the big one and cement himself as the greatest Dutch coach of all time, in my opinion, if he wins the World Cup.
Aye, because the Dutch are one of those sides where they are basically the most successful team never to have won it.
Yeah, they're the best way to describe them is they're the Atletico Madrid of the World Cup. They get to finals, they just don't know how to win them. Shame, really, because the Dutch are obviously. I wouldn't normally bat them. Obviously, Germany obviously hate the Dutch, but I just think they've got a very strong outfit, and there's just something about them. Like Van Gaal's got this team playing really well. There's only 2 unbeaten teams going at the World Cup. Actually, no, 3. The Germans as well. Actually, fun enough, are still unbeaten under Flick. But in terms of serious unbeaten runs, Argentina are about to break the Italian record. Bit of a coincidence that the Brazil game was kind of postponed when it shouldn't have been, just so that Argentina can stay undefeated. And then obviously Holland, I think, is it 17 games unbeaten?
17 games, yeah.
Yeah, so that's 2 serious teams going unbeaten, and they're playing really good football, and they're getting the results as well when they're not playing well either. I think those 2 are out there, but I think Brazil are the most overall best placed team to go and do it, because I think they've got the best squad. And well, I don't see the defending champions doing anything, but you never know. With Deschamps, he's a decent manager; they might do well, but I don't think France have got a chance. But we'll see.
I'm not sure. Tom, I have seen the Brazil squad, and I'm amazed that there is, well, at least there's a couple of players in that team. Richarlison, for one, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Joe Linton's not there. I thought he may have had a deserved chance at it. I'm amazed, and I don't know if Reese will agree with me, obviously being a Man United fan. Gabriel Margalez is not in the Brazil squad.
Yeah, I think personally he should be there. He's a brilliant player for Arsenal as well. He's the centre half, isn't he? Yeah, I think he's been solid besides Saliba. I find it weird that Saliba's going to be in the first choice French back three, but Gabriel's not going.
Yeah.
Personally, if it was up to me, I would drop every single fullback that the Brazil have taken. I would have just taken a few more midfielders. I would have taken a few extra centre backs. I rate Brazil's squad, but I think every single fullback going is absolutely awful. Dani Alves is not what he used to be. Telles is inconsistent. Sandro's finished, and Danilo's Danilo. Like all four of them, I don't know what the hell TT's thinking. Personally, I think Brazil should go with a 3-4-3 diamond at the World Cup, play a strong midfield, and go for it. I don't think they necessarily need anything else, but Brazil's weakness is their fullbacks.
Yeah, well, Portugal-Brazil finals, Alinus thinks. France or Portugal versus Brazil in the final. Uruguay is not bad as well. Well, we will be speaking about them as the week.
I don't see Portugal getting out of the group.
Interesting. I think this tournament is going to be like the Euros, and a few big teams won't make the knockout stages. Yes to the Super League. Argentina, my favourite. Like your T-shirt, Douglas, it looks like them. Minions. Illumination. Brazil can make one team only with their stickers. Yeah. Strikers, sorry. I am bummed for Bobby. I'm absolutely gutted, Liz. I'm absolutely gutted that he is not there. Absolutely gutted. Hit that like button, people, please. Thank you, Alan. Hope you're good, Alan. And good evening, James, as well. So we're obviously starting from the beginning because we do have World Cup Group B now. Group A, I should say.
I was going to say you're reinventing the alphabet.
I am reinventing the alphabet. Nah, I'm only joking. I'm only joking anyway. But let me just share my my screen because and I will go into actually if I can just ever so slightly go into this full screen. We will go into the comments very shortly, but I will keep going. So Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. So I think people will probably expect this group to be probably Senegal, Netherlands going through. Let's talk about obviously the host Qatar because I don't think many people will obviously know about Qatar. Bit of an unknown identity, although in past World Cups, the hosts have done well.
Yes. They're not going to do well at all unless money gets in the way of it. The only thing interesting for them, though, is the fact that they have beaten, obviously I'm just looking at, they've beaten Ecuador in recent games in a friendly. That was 4 years ago. There's a lot's changed since then. Ecuador surprisingly getting to the World Cup. But all in all, I don't think Qatar are actually going to do anything. I don't think Qatar are going to pick up a single point either. I think they're going to finish bottom, like with 0. Not just because it's the host. The only way they realistically would do anything is if the big influence with money and Holland just surprisingly don't play well because I expect Senegal to get that group anyway, and I expect Holland to get out, but it'd be very surprising in the sense that with Qatar.
Yeah, I agree. I think as well that the fact that like people will forget this, but actually Senegal against Netherlands was potentially going to be the first game of the World Cup, which doesn't make any sense because usually if you're like a host country to actually host the World Cup, usually the host sort of kicks off with it. Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, it would have been a good opener, Senegal versus Holland. It would have been a very good opener. But the fact that we are getting the host nation at least opening it, we can see what they're capable of. But I think if you realistically have to put it down to it, nothing's coming out of this one except, in my opinion, an Ecuador win.
Yeah, I think I have to say I am looking at that and. I know Qatar have had, I think they've had Asian Cup success recently. I think in 2019, I think they won the Asian Cup. But
yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I don't know any of their players. I don't think I could name a single Qatar player in their side. But yeah, there are a bit of an unknown identity. Guys in the chat, we will get to the chat shortly, but we're obviously doing a nice wee preview. Ecuador are a funny one for me, Reese. Usually they go out in the group stage. But they do have a few good players coming through. Obviously, I can think of the Brighton duo of Estupiñán and Moises Caicedo coming through.
Yeah, fantastic left back or left wing back, depending on how you want to use them. Caicedo, he's a tenacious box-to-box player. It's still not enough for them if they want to get out of this group. Like, you're not really going to get out of the group if one of your best players is a left wing back. I mean, like that is not going to realistically do it. That's like Canada. Like, Canada have to play Alphonso Davies as a left mid just to get him into the game because they're not going to do anything as well. And that's no disrespect to Canada. But it's in the sense of your best player is a left back, then it makes you wonder about the overall strength of your squad. So they'll get a good result against Qatar in this sense, but other than that, I don't think they're going to do anything else afterwards. It's just purely there's a major difference between two good players in your team, and then you're coming up against a team that's got 4 or 5 in Senegal, and Holland's entire squad is extremely good. So that's the real difference for me. Yeah, and at least the only thing for though is Ecuador are established World Cup team in the sense they always do make it to tournaments. They just don't do anything impressive, which is a shame because I think as South American teams, obviously you want to see South American teams do really well. I think Ecuador are just an example this year where I think they're just it's like with France in 2010. They were absolutely awful. It should have been the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
Ecuador in this sense, Ecuador I think are just taking a place for somebody else. I don't think Ecuador are really going to amount to anything.
Yeah, I have to say it's going to be a very, very interesting first game, that one, Qatar Ecuador, because I think if you look at it, I think if Qatar want to try and qualify, they have to at least get something from Ecuador, but Ecuador have got some good players on their side. Like Enner Valencia is still battling around. Obviously, people remember Antonio Valencia at some point. Obviously,
sure.
He's retired at the moment as well. But they don't have an out and out goal scorer. I think the thing that will be detrimental to Ecuador, I think, is the attack. So I don't think they'll score many goals, but I think they will keep it tight because they're quite a compact team.
Yeah, I think that's something that can definitely go in their favour. I mean, God forbid, like if Ecuador defend really tight and they limit Senegal and Holland and they don't concede, depending on how the group goes, Senegal could qualify with 3 draws. Like it's possible. It's happened in the past. Will they do it? I don't think so. But there's no shame in playing a defensive approach to the group and then see how it goes. But they have to come out firing in this first group game against Qatar if they want to do anything. It'll force, if they get a high score result against Qatar, it'll force pressure on Senegal and Holland anyway. And I think that's what both teams will want to do, is put the pressure on. It's just how much pressure necessarily will they do. The one good thing that suits both teams as well is they're used to the 3 teams out of this group. Holland is the sceptical one. 3 of these teams will be used to very high hot temperatures in terms of like where they're based. That might go in their favour, but we've seen European teams do fairly well in hot climates before. It's just, will it be enough? We'll see. But no, I do like the fact that it's going to be an opening group. Will I watch it? Probably. Am I looking forward to though as a World Cup opener? No.
Yeah, I know. I think it's one of those ones where I'll probably watch it, but if it's like, it's probably not one to do a watch along for. I don't think it's one of them to. I don't think there'll be many goals in that one. But we'll obviously wait and see. Anyway, good evening, Shane. Liz says, I hope Qatar get knocked out. Yeah, I agree. Kane's playing for the Korean team. Big up boys. Hello, Ricky. Hope you're good. Good evening. Chris. Hope you're good. I once wrote a song about a tortilla, but it's more of a rap. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah, guys, Chris will be on tomorrow with Dan. So it'll be dad jokes galore. I'm only joking. Sorry, Michael, if you're watching this, and sorry, Arpon, if you're watching this. But I am looking forward to having you, Chris. I must admit, I am. Evening, Chris, says James. Liz laughing. Hello, Panoff. Yet again. Yeah, absolutely. This is weird. Two Scotsmen talking about the World Cup. Am I in a parallel universe? No, it is actually happening. Evening, James and Liz. Uruguay have got a great team. Valverde, Nunez, Suarez, Bentancur, and other good players. Yes.
There's a dark horse for me. They're the dark horse team to go and win the World Cup. Uruguay. I always have them as a dark horse. Japan as well. They're always a mad dark horse for people as well. They're always a bookies dark horse, which is funny.
Yeah. I know a famous Qatar player, Carlos Santana. Ooh. Is that... Oh, no.
Just look in the chat and you'll see why.
Oh, dear. Not going to lie, how many will be tuning in on the BBC or ITV to watch Qatar, Ecuador? Not exactly an exciting game to start the World Cup. No, absolutely not. Ricky says, well, we will get to predictions. I won't be predicting because obviously I will have a live stream to obviously give my predictions for the group stage. I think that'll be next Monday, so please do consider hitting that notifications bell so that you don't miss an upload. As well, Senegal and Netherlands will go forward, says Ali Noose. I forgot Enner Valencia. Yeah, this is the thing. Some of these players that you actually forget to be seeing play. Obviously, Enner Valencia, obviously West Ham, Aston Villa at some point. But yeah, you're still playing, Tom. James, you're still playing. Making a bold statement, but I reckon it'll be Holland and Qatar that go through. Oh, Tom. Interesting.
I generally find the only way Qatar go through is if involved. And it will be. See, that's what I meant about Carlos Santana.
Oh, dear. Jimmy Henderson, another famous card. That's bad. 1 Netherlands, 2 Senegal, 3 Ecuador, Qatar, 4. I know people who are boycott watching the World Cup. Yeah, I there are a few people that I know are definitely boycotting it. Netherlands and Senegal for me. Netherlands and Senegal for me as well. Carlos is still playing the 70s. Jesus. Head over and well, methinks Douglas. Yes. I didn't actually think of that. But we'll go into this one. Senegal Netherlands. I mean, this game is big for 2 reasons. Mane against Van Dijk. But I think people will probably say that is probably obviously Mane versus Van Dijk. However, though, do you think Senegal have a bit of a problem in goal?
I was waiting for that question. Yeah, I do. And it's crazy from being named the goalkeeper of the year last year.
Yeah.
And obviously Courtois getting it this year. Mendy has dropped off an absolute cliff. Like,
he has.
I've got no clue what is going on both up here and in his game. It's completely gone. It's the entire way of process of watching him play football is gone. Like, his processing is completely gone. Like, this is not the goalkeeper that took Chelsea to a Champions League or Senegal to an AFCON and the World Cup qualifiers. Like, this is completely different. He's dropped massively. And it's not going to help Senegal as well, considering the attacking talent. And to be fair, overall, like the attacking talent in general for the Dutch, they just need to get at him right now. It's so easy to score past Mendy. It's so easy to score past Edouard Mendy right now that I think Holland, if Holland get the game plan right, they'll have a field day. Senegal, like the way things are going with him, they are in massive trouble. Massive trouble.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, like, I was looking at Senegal as potentially one of the dark horses because obviously they have just won the Africa Cup of Nations previously as well. African Cup hasn't really, done well to an extent. Obviously, we had in Cameroon and like in the semis and like I think the early sort of 80s,
and in Ghana in the quarterfinals.
But we've never had like someone actually just get to like like get to the final. We've not ever had like an African team that's in the final. Could Senegal be that team?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. And the reason I say I don't know is because I always go back to that very important interview by Jose Mourinho, and a lot of people branded him racist for this. I don't see the way he's categorically put it. He's saying you would like to see players that are like born in African countries play for the African countries, because it would at least make the team stronger and at least take the teams up a little. Obviously, the likes of there are players who have chosen to represent the European contingent because they like family. I completely understand that.
Yeah,
and I can see why Mourinho would like to have a stronger. Why Mourinho would like the stronger side from Africa, especially because like it's such a massive continent. You could have like a very strong South Africa team. You could have a very strong Cameroon, Ghana get back to their best.
Yeah,
it'd be great to see Algeria, Nigeria, like because Nigeria have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, they
have. Senegal as well. It'd be great to see these players represent. It was good. It's good to see the likes of Sadio Mane and Mendy and Koulibaly choose to reject the likes of France, etc., and decide, you know what, we're going to play for Senegal. I like that. I like the fact that they're standing by that, because it gives a sense, like Senegal gives them a sense of importance as well, because like they wanted to. I want to see an African team at one point win the World Cup. I'd love to. It doesn't matter who. Like it could be Papua New Guinea for all I care. Like I would just love to see an African team win it, because it's got such prestigious amount of football players to come from that continent, and the team-wise is great. They hosted a very good World Cup, apart from the stupid vuvuzelas. I'll never forget that horrible noise. But they hosted a brilliant World Cup, and they were very unlucky not to have a semi-final representative in Ghana if it hadn't been for, well, one of the best cases of cheating I've ever seen in Luis Suarez handball off the line. Like that is clear brilliance of just doing it and getting caught deliberately. But I think that interview that Mourinho had was spot on. I would like to see 5 or 6 African teams who would generally come into a tournament, and the likes of Brazil, the likes of Argentina, Germany, Spain, hell, even England, generally crap themselves because they're like, Jesus, what are we up against? But unfortunately, these players have got the opportunity as well, where they've got the dual nationality, where if France want them to play for them, or God forbid, Turkey or even Italy, it can happen. Those countries are always, unfortunately, going to get priority, and it's a shame, really. But I think Senegal have got a good chance, but Edouard Mendy needs to step the hell up. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
And Holland, I mean, I did say at the start of this that they are the best team to have never won it, but you just get the feeling that this Holland side could do something at this World Cup.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think they're one of the strongest teams coming at the World Cup, and they're not dark horses for me. They're favourites. Like they're one of the favourites to do it. I actually think they're more of a favourite than Spain, and that's not because I absolutely adore Luis Enrique. I just don't trust some of his squad. Whereas you can tell with Van Gaal, like Van Gaal's squad, all of them trust him in that sense, where they all fit the team. Like they could change system, and you don't see a change in the style. It's the same. 1 or 2 changes to the Spanish team, and they look completely lost.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of good to see Holland get their style back in that way. And obviously, it's great to see like the guy who's actually best with it in Van Gaal take them to the World Cup in such a brilliant fashion. I don't know if Holland will win it, but I wouldn't put it past Holland making the World Cup semi-finals, though. I wouldn't put it past me, because they've got a strong back. They've got a strong back 5 if they need to, although they can defend on a back 3. They've got brilliant midfield combinations.
Yeah.
And then the likes of Memphis, Gakpo, Bergwijn, all that up front. Like that's a real quality team. This is probably the best Dutch team since maybe that 2010 World Cup, or maybe 2014, depending on what your preference is. I prefer the team that got to the semis than the one that got to the final. But the only reason I prefer the team that got to the semis is because that was proper Dutch football. The team that got to the World Cup final in 2010 was not Dutch at all. It was brutal. It was disgusting type of football, and it's not something you associate really with Dutch teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I certainly think this Holland team's got a very strong chance, and if they make it, then fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this will be surprising for you. This is the first ever meeting between Senegal and the Netherlands.
I always wondered if they'd played each other before. Obviously, it is there on the screen. I think
Yeah.
that is really good. Like, in the sense you are going to get first time, so there is no real pressure about who's got the bragging rights.
Yeah.
It's just the pressure on for getting top spot. If this game ends in a draw, that's going to make it very interesting for the remainder of the group. But I don't think this is going to be a draw, to be honest.
Well, it'll be very, very intriguing because obviously after that game it is Qatar against Senegal, which again Senegal should have too much for them. Like they're attacking talent. Like, look, if there are any Qataris obviously in the chat, then obviously we obviously wish you the best of luck for the tournament. It's going to be a very, very interesting tournament, but it's going to be that game's going to be interesting, Qatar Senegal, because that's the game I look at where I feel Senegal will be way too strong, and then you look at the last game, Netherlands Qatar. You'd expect the Dutch to have way too much for the Qatar.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's a reflection of how the tournament is going to go. And it's crazy how it goes from Qatar Senegal is match 18 to 18 games later it's Holland versus Qatar. It's mental. That's just how fast the World Cup's going to be. But in terms of this game, who knows? Give or take, like Senegal should be too strong. Mane, Koulibaly, Mendy is three perfect examples, but we've seen in World Cups before, this could be a banana skin game. Like, this could end up being a complete shock and Qatar nick something. Like, they could. I don't think they will, though, but, like, it's happened in World Cups before. Random results have happened. Senegal should be blowing Qatar away 4 or 5-0 just with Mane alone.
Yeah.
Will they, though? No. I think it'll be like 2-0 or something like that, 3-0-ish. But the quality they've got, they should be battering Qatar. Like, no offense to Qatar, but they should be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ecuador, Senegal, I fully expect Senegal to, probably do Ecuador as well. But it's going to be very, 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 very intriguing. And then obviously there is a wee bit of other things here, which people will probably just remember now that fair play points will be used as tiebreakers of the overall and head-to-head records of teams that are tied. These are calculated based on yellow and red cards received in all group matches as follows. So first yellow card minus 1 point, indirect red card minus 3 points, direct red card 4 points, minus 5 points for yellow card and direct red card. Only one of the above deductions can be applied to a player in a single match. So
some of the stuff they come up with is mental.
I know. I was just thinking that actually. I was actually just thinking that. So it's time for your prediction. How do you see this group going? So who is obviously finishing first in this group? Do you think?
For me, it's Holland. Like, it's just the pure strength of the team. Like the manager's got his team playing really well. It is his swan song as well. And I think because it's Van Gaal, like, doesn't matter how old he is, like, he'll always be up for it. He won't refuse to let this team slack.
Yeah,
I don't see anything but Holland win the group. I'd be amazed if it wasn't Holland.
Interesting. Okay, so who is finishing second?
Senegal for me.
Senegal.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So Holland, Senegal. Third.
Ecuador.
Ecuador and then Qatar.
Yeah.
It's interesting that obviously you obviously see up there that Netherlands, as I said, I did say they have been the most successful team not to win it. 1974, 1978, and 2010 runners up, and actually the furthest that Senegal have actually got was the 2002 quarterfinals. Now 2002 was when Senegal manager Aliou Cissé was actually in that Senegal side, that very good Senegal side. I obviously had El Hadji Diouf bag, like they call him. Papa Bouba Diop, of course. Yep. Obviously, Aliou Cissé was in that side as well. I feel this Senegal side are probably in their golden generation. Would you agree?
I would say so. My only fear is when you hear the words golden generation, certain teams just haven't delivered. At least they are in terms of the African Cup of Nations sense. They need to take that into the World Cup. If they don't, then it's going to be questions all over.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine though. I think they'll be fine. But in just that sense of it, like there is a seriously strong outfit in there. I just think they're not as strong as Senegal to do it. But they can do it. Like Senegal could do it, but it all depends on how Holland play in the groups. I think Holland they'll just want to get the business done early and fast.
Yeah. So, as a sort of other question, how far do you see Holland going?
I think semi-finals. I think
Semis.
I think they could be in the final four. And depending on who they get, they could get to another final.
What about the Lions of Teranga, Senegal? How far do you think they could get?
I think Senegal could get the quarterfinals. I think if they maintain their way of playing football, if they just keep goals out from opposition, and they give Mane as much service as possible, I think they could get quarterfinals.
And especially because it'll all depend on sort of where they finish, because obviously the next sort of game at the round of 16, they could be facing like an England, they could potentially face a Wales, they could easily potentially face a USA. If England were to play Senegal, would you think Senegal would be stronger over England?
I'm not sure. I mean, I would like Senegal to beat them. It'd be funny. I just think there's just so much difference between the level of squads, but I don't think that should be a factor for me. The factor is how they take the approach to the game. If it was Senegal to finish second and they were to play England, then that would be a very tasty tie. I think I would still, to be fair, probably tip Senegal, just because like the altitude and the heat factor involved. But also, I just think England would get too cocky. I've seen it numerous times, but it's a very interesting one. Obviously, England are coming to the World Cup as well, very strong. They'll see how they fare, but I think if England played their cards right, I think England would rather play Senegal than they play Holland. I think if they played Holland, Holland would spark them.
Yeah, I think so as well. So we'll go into your guys' chats. Louis Hamanhal's swan song as he will leave the job after the World Cup. Ronald Koeman back. Yes, Ronald Koeman back. What do you make of that, Reese?
Well, I like Ronald Koeman. I think his style of football, I actually think it suits international football more than it suits club football. And that's not his fault. It's just so well organised and coached. I don't think it translated well at the club sides. The only teams that really could translate well was like Dutch teams or Southampton, but then everywhere else eventually went downhill because no other club backed them. But fair play to him for getting back into this and getting a job as well. I wonder if this is just him getting the job from the Dutch FA, or if it's because I don't think this is Van Gaal's chosen successor, because I don't think they get along. So I think if it was up to Van Gaal, I think Van Gaal would have had someone else in mind. Maybe it would be funny. Maybe a De Boer. I wouldn't be surprised if De Boer was his chosen option. But in the Dutch FA have decided to go for Ronald Koeman because he's far better experienced, far better equipped, and I think he is. Personally, I think we'll see how it goes, but it's a good current coach, and it's a good coach to replace him as well in the long term. It's just they need to stand by him this time. They need to stand by him and do not let him out their scopes again, because they should have told him you're not going to Barcelona. They should have rejected the option. They should have just said, no, you're here to do a job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Chris says, my work here is done. Off for a show. Take care, both in chat. Thank you, Chris. And I'll see you tomorrow, mate. I'll see you tomorrow. 13 days to the World Cup. We will start. Damn, time flies. I know it's pretty mental. Absolutely pretty mental. Someone bet on Brazil for the winner. Interesting. Who needs the World Cup? We have the FA Cup draw. Hello, Dave. Hope you're good. Hope you're good, mate. Qatar will probably go on a stupid run to the quarters. They could. That's the good thing about World Cups is that you're very you always get an unknown identity.
Aye.
A team that is expected not to do very well, like Senegal in 2002, they came from absolutely nowhere and they got to the quarters. So, Dave, you could be absolutely right. Quarters.
No, I agree. It could certainly happen. It all just depends on that Senegal-Holland game and how either team responds if they get beat. But yeah, no, absolutely. That opening game is massive for Qatar. If Qatar beat Ecuador even by a goal to nil, there's definitely a good chance of them qualifying. But I just don't think they will. The only way I see them getting out generally is if they bribe the officials. It's the only way I do see it happening.
Yeah, just to let people know, obviously, because obviously 20th of November is when it starts. Sunday the 20th of November, which is Qatar, Ecuador. That is a 4 o'clock kickoff, obviously UK time. Then on Monday, the 21st of November, with Senegal against Netherlands, at a 4 o'clock kickoff. So if you're working from home that day, I think that's a game to be in with a shout of, for sure. And then on the 25th. Oh, I know a minute. I've gone way too far. I've gone way too far. Yes, Qatar, Senegal on the 25th of November. And then Netherlands against Ecuador. So Qatar, Senegal is 1 o'clock kickoff. And then Netherlands, Ecuador straight after that, 4 o'clock. So could be very interesting. And then the final group games in Group A are the 29th of November. Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands, Qatar, both 3 o'clock kickoffs.
Those simultaneous kickoffs, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think when I've got my laptop out, I'll just be on my phone just slyly just watching it as well.
Same.
Reese, do you think they will bribe the officials?
I genuinely think they could. It was already dodgy how they got the World Cup given to them in 2010 anyway. It was very dodgy. It wouldn't surprise me if they tried a stunt like that. It's happened before with World Cup hosts before. It honestly would not surprise me.
Well, we remember the 2002 World Cup again. That was bold.
Oh, Italy got screwed.
Bold and corruption, wasn't it?
The Italians got royally screwed.
Yeah, they did.
That wasn't even just a sleight of hand. That was full blown. You could see what was going on because one, there was no diving. Totti should never have been sent off for diving. He didn't dive. Although Christian Vieri, if he knew how to finish a ball, they would have actually won the game. But it was quite scandalous how the Italians also had a goal ruled out as well when they should never have had. Because obviously the FIFA would love to have a World Cup host at least reach the semi-finals, and they definitely did get their wish, but fortunately prevailed. The Germans knocked them out. But yeah, very, very dodgy. I'm not 100% certain that Qatar will bribe the officials, but just because it's happened before in such a high stakes tournament, it just would not surprise me if it does happen, even in just like the final group game.
Yeah, possibly. One Lambo or the ref. I like that. And obviously when we speak about obviously the heat as well, do you think that will play a part in it?
Yeah, I think one team that potentially could struggle is the Dutch, just because obviously in like the European climate, totally different to like an African or South American climate, it will really test the Dutch. But we saw how well Holland did in 2014. We saw how well they did in 2010. There is a good chance that it just does not faze them at all. I think they will. I think one thing Van Gaal will do more than anything is he will train his team to be well conditioned to cope. But they're definitely going to need to keep refreshing those players. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
Definitely.
I don't know if water breaks are going to be used, but even so, like I don't care if it's winter, it's still going to be far too hot over there. But I think generally would be fine. But I think if you had to really put a favour on it, like I think the conditions would not be in Holland's favour unless they're well conditioned to go.
Yeah, 100%. Race, thank you very much for coming on. I really do appreciate you helping me with the first preview. We'll definitely get you back on, especially for a certain group of yours, which is obviously Group E with Spain, Germany, Japan, and Costa Rica.
You can hear my pure bias. You can hear my pure bias on that group.
I will obviously look at that. I will obviously enjoy that anyway. Brian says hello to me and also says hello to Reese as well. As I have said, I will be live yet again at 8 o'clock for the Prem Prediction Show. I have Mr. Nathan Morgan and Mr. Paul Morgan. Both of them are coming on as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. But no, Reese, tell the people where they can find you just very, very quickly.
Right there on Devils Rising on YouTube and Twitter, and the weekly Armchair Sports Talk. Thank you, and also on Josh's channel on a Monday night for the week for the World of Football podcast. But we're taking a wee break this week, but we're back next week, and we have the quiz next Saturday as well, which I'm hosting.
Indeed you do. Indeed you are. Absolutely. Cheers, lads. Take care. No problem, James. James, I am live again at 8 o'clock. So if you want to tune in again, and obviously please do, and have a nice evening, guys. Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. We are done and dusted for the first World Cup preview. Now tomorrow we will be doing the big one. Is England, Wales, Iran, and the United States of America. And we have a very good panel, as I've said. Chris from Leicester Till I Die, you did see him in the chat earlier. He will be there. Dan from Turfmoor House will be there. We're also joined by Mr. Michael from Michael Talks Football. He's coming on. And also, I think, if I remember rightly, I think this is his first time on the channel. It is Arpon Diaz, I think that's his name, AD744. So I'm looking forward to having him.
Decent
as well. So yeah, it should be a very, very good one. Bigger Boys, great stream. Thank you very much, Ricky. But guys, I will see you in literally 45 minutes for the Prem Prediction Show, the final one until the World Cup. See you then. Bye-bye.